This is your daily market review for Thursday, July 18th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Thursday, July 18th, 2024. Hopefully you're having a great day. If you were paying attention to the channel, you're very aware of the volatility that is showing up and that's going on in the market. I mean, as we talked about, the first part of the week would be up, potentially, since the first 2 days were up. Now expecting down, but I'm guessing at these levels we'll probably get some more chop really to end the week, again, to beat the VIX down, punish the put buyers, just like they punished the call buyers at the beginning of the week. However, I still think overall the market has way more downside than upside, so please be careful. If you haven't managed your trades and profits and you're just holding on to a stock like NVIDIA or Micron or Tesla and you're just like, oh, I'm going to hope for the best and see what happens, I'm telling you, be careful. Again, we are setting up for bigger pain. Again, if the Feds actually cut twice coming up in September, it's telling you things are way worse. And again, if you're following the Twitter page, I keep reposting all the layoffs. Looks like Beyond Meat's going out of business. Saw some other businesses laying off 1,500, 2,000 people left and right. And I'm telling you right now, sadly, it's not going to get better before it gets worse. And now that you have Trump pushing Mr. Powell not to raise rates or cut rates, yikes. So if you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, links in the description below. Again, follow on the Twitter. If you're not and you're in the room, I don't know why you're not. Again, here you go. Mercury Marine, 10-year greens, going out of business. It's just not good out there. So hit me up if you want to chat. Calendly link. Here it is. Select a date. Pick some times. Hit me up. Also, if you're new to the website, check out the website if you're new to the channel. This is the goal. Turn profits into properties and passive income. PPP. Also get the recommended reading. Twitter, Facebook, Yahoo, whatever. No, I'm just kidding. All the good assets or resources on here. Again, if you want to check out all the educational videos. I get so many people asking me questions. I'm like, there's a reason why I spent days and hours endlessly building this library. Oops, I need to put that on silent. Library of endless content. And again, if you're not using it, poor K, no, I don't understand. So let's get into it. September. Again, I like to refresh this constantly. We know they're expecting one cut. July is a nothing burger. This is where it's getting interesting, right? Starting to see this crop up. And as I've talked about, the only way you're going to get quick, excessive rate cuts is if the economy's falling off the cliff. And I'm telling you, it's happening. It's just, how fast is it going to be? Bitcoin, as we talked about, I mean, I trust this when the Feds pivot. And they actually do the pivot. And so at this point, you're just trading in a range. Ten cuidado. Oil, as we talked about, has downside risk. Lots of downside risk. Again, because it's demand destruction, the recession's coming. The same thing with natural gas. Again, a lot of people want to buy the dip here, and I get it. But they will throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I have to say that like every video. And it's okay until you learn that lesson. But that's what they do when the pullbacks start, because it's mass liquidation. If you're not sure what that means, think about it. Like, you have margin calls. You have people panicking. You have people just going, I need to raise cash, and I don't care what you say, what you do. I'm selling my stocks, my commodities, my assets, whatever it might be. So you got to be careful. All right, dollar, talked about holding down here in the 28.50. So far, so good. If it breaks below it, look out below. TLT, again, liking the UBT up here. Now, again, if it pulls back, that's fine. I bought half of my position up here. If it does break out, great. If it doesn't, I'm have bullets to fire. Again, I think you will see the massive pain when people start buying TLT, bonds. Again, that's when you get the rotation. That's what the Feds really want. That's what I think people don't realize is, like, that's what the Feds want. They want natural buying in the Treasury department, Treasury area. They don't want to be supporting this endlessly. The VIX, as we talked about, waking up, breaking down here. Talking about these gaps are a little dangerous for bulls. Now, near term, again, I'm not surprised if it chops around. This is where the thing is, like, I only have shorts on. I don't have any longs on. And so if you do have longs, be careful. If you're short, again, trade around your positions. Don't be silly. Again, take advantage of the premiums by selling. Again, if you have ETFs, sell the covered calls against those bearish ETFs. Vivix, as we talked about, was waking up, was telling you it was coming. SPY, I'm a little surprised we pulled back more today, but I'm not surprised. We got the 20-day. You're welcome. chopping here. Again, I think, you should find buyers. I'd be watching the 557 area for potentially a bounce if there was one, or just a doji inside Friday day, just kind of a nothing burger. Now, I know we got Netflix after hours, so that's going to, I don't know. Let's see, again, have they dropped the earnings? I'm just curious. Sorry, just thought passed in my brain because I'm curious how to see what the okay, margins are better, made more money. Oop, revs are actually less. Okay, lower guidance. Again, as I said, I mean, I don't think there's the justification for this, but we'll get there in short. We're almost there. SPY 20-day QQQ. Told you guys we'd get to the 20-day. People are like, oh, I don't know, maybe next week. And then you got below it. Now we're holding here. I wouldn't be surprised if a little chop action was formed. Again, IWM talked about shorting the open. If you got up here around 225, holla at your boy. We talked about it because, again, this is the biggest move against the S&P 500 ever seen. Straight line. Again, do the math, right? What's 25 on top of 200, right? Pretty solid percentage-wise, very quickly, right? 10% plus. Again, financials trapped, in my opinion. We'll talk about that. Again, we saw it coming, had to be patient. I'm glad. Congrats. Look at the DIA. Outside reversal bar. That is bearish. That is bearish. I don't care who you are. That is a bearish formation. You make a new high, long wick, you close below the previous day, and you have volume above average. We'll see how it continues tomorrow again, because I think you could get some chop. If you were going long now, scary. Gold, as I talked about, there was seasonality in July. Now we're in mid-July. Do you want to chase gold? Again, silver is not pointing to the epic up move that people are talking about. Because, again, silver should be following. If we break the 50-day, adios, amigos. Again, GDX, as I've warned, they will flush the shit out of miners. Again, if there's global issues, credit issues, money ties up, miners will get absolutely beaten. Now, again, I'm not saying long-term they won't be fine. I just think at some point you have to be careful. AG, AEM. Again, AG is not falling. I mean, again, Newmont looked like it was going. Again, keep an eye on it. Got to get up in the 50s. I mean, we talked about the breakout over 43. Please just raise your stops for the love of God. For the love of God. I've seen miners pull back 60% in fast dumps by the market and VIX spikes. Pass. Again, this looks a little scary up here. Taiwan Semi. Let's get into tech. Earnings today. Don't even care what the number was. Look at the action. Yikes. 20-day, 50-day squat. Now you've got to play this range. You break below today's lows, go short. Gets above 20-day, could fill the gap. I mean, personally, again, I've said you got to be out of your mind to be buying this stock. I think it's the easiest short long-term. Near-term, not always so easy. Micron, as we talked about, holding the 50-day for as long as it could. Gap down post-earnings. Blah. Goodbye. AMD, hit the upper range that we talked about. Hit it. Blah. Man, you better hold the 200-day. Now, again, that's why I think near-term we probably hold, but we could get absolutely beaten. NVIDIA, we talked about at some point, you're welcome. Coming back to this area, you got it. Near-term, I have no problem with chop. Because, again, I think chop leads to smash. And if you go look at the insiders, they can't sell fast enough. Literally cannot. SMCI, chopping around. Again, this is a big range trade. I know they have earnings coming up, so be careful. Intellectual property. Again, everybody's very excited about this one. Again, I think they benefit from Trump, but man, you gap fill, but the whole problem is the sector. They're caught in the ETFs. They're caught in the whoosh in it. Could it break out? I don't know. Your guess is good as mine, if that makes sense. But near term, chopping around. Again, it seems better than most. Give it credit, right? SMH, we talked about this double top gapping down. This is a big professional gap. Now, this is what's so hard about professional gaps is it definitely leads the way, but what if it needs some time? What if you got to trap some bulls looking for the first dip, maybe pops back to the 20-day, then kapow. Kelly Kapowski. Adobe, talked about this was an amazing short. Did not get the retest of the highs that I wanted. Oh well, it is what it is. Apple, talked about the novice gap. You're welcome. Here is one. And then you have the island floating reversal, gap down. 20 days imminent, 220 area probably hits tomorrow, maybe next week. Either way, please do not, for the love of God, be careful. Do not buy Apple up here. Again, if it pops on earnings, I think it'll be an absolute gift. Amazon ran up Prime Day, hits the 200. Bezos can't sell fast enough. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Now at the 100-day, Could it bounce? That's where I'd be watching for it, right? Meta Mecca high, like a hiding ho. We talked about this. Bull trap comes down. We said we were going to touch this area. You got it. Doji inside day. Again, I'd be looking for pops, but keep in mind they do have earnings coming up. So there's, again, if you have earnings, you got to be careful. CRM, we talked about this being the top, pulling back, Guggenheim. Again, if you chase tech, you're just going to regret it. This is why I hate when people chase. This one's just been holding up. 50-day, however, man, pulled back. These things should bounce here. If they don't, it tells you a lot, y'all. Microsoft, 50-day, same kind of thing. NDAQ, you're welcome if you shorted this thing in the short zone. Da-da-da-da-da. Keep an eye on that one because that's a big red bar. Now, I'd like the higher volume, but maybe not happening so quick. MicroStrategy, going to be doing that split thing up against the range highs. If Bitcoin starts pulling back, come back to 1230. Pronto, Netflix, let's see where it's at after hours. Ooh, 624. So it's at the 100-day. Not surprised. Again, we've talked about, like, this is their last earnings. Why was it going higher? Your guess is as good as mine. There's nothing on the horizon that's good for them, in my opinion. Roblox, so again, I'd be watching for bounces at the 50-day and then short it. Roblox, keep an eye on this. This could be an area where you could fail from. Pan W, and we like this. I like cybersecurity, but people are like, why aren't you buying it? Because I'm like, the Feds have problems. The economy's not that strong. The market is not paying attention to literally the Grim Reaper at the door. Now, again, that doesn't mean it can't go. Like we talked about, couldn't pop, but I'm not chasing it. Again, Pelosi's buying it. I like it. Tesla, here we go again. Talked about this. Be careful up here. Be careful. High and tight's good, but it looks like intraday. You break 246, coming right back down to 234. Again, I would not chase these names. Insight, talked about this. I think this is a great company. Long-term, going to get bought out. However, near term, you're coming into what? The upper bound again. Now, this is what would be the ideal situation. You come back, then you go, right? That would be cool. McDonald's, as we talked about this one, set up the bear trap at the lows, rally back. Interesting, we're getting stuck around 260. Worth a watch. DKNG, everyone's like, oh, this is going to the moon. I'm like, you're stewing on your pain at some point. Watch this 36 area because, again, we talked about the short here. Got the bounce, kapow. Keep an eye on it. Airbnb, especially ESPN. Everyone's doing gambling. It's such a competitive business. Airbnb, 100-day. Again, I would not want to be in the casino gambling business going into a recession. Costco. We talked about this. This was like the bar that said it's over. Now, it doesn't mean it had to just, again, it's not always every down all day, every day. Then you chop at support, right? Look at it, like very clear. You bounce, chop around, then you break it, you close right at it. Chop X, is that an options expiration game? Keep an eye on it. Starbucks, we talked about this, retesting the range lows. God, man, if this thing just chops here around the lows, you're going to see epic beatdown at some point. FedEx has been holding up. Talked about this. I mean, it makes sense to short up here. Now you have a 2-day range. Talked about. Now you have a 3-day range. Now you've got a great short reference. We talked about how this could turn into a left-right combo. It's kind of looking combo-ish. Again, Caterpillar, earnings coming up. Be careful with this one. Look at that damn wick, y'all. I mean, if that is not just an arrow in itself, that's a beast. That is a beast. So, again, earnings coming up. I mean, that's the thing. Do you want to chase it? No. Let it come to you. Give the ranges. I mean, that's a bull trap. Oh, man, that is super looking bearish to me. Again, I wish this was post-earnings because, again, they could always not fudge the numbers, but they could over-represent. The market could rally on it or something. Someone could get excited about it. Keep an eye on that one. Jeez. Nucor. Again, earnings coming up on Monday. A little squeeze, chopping around. Nothing. Again, I'm not playing in front of earnings. I don't need to gamble. X, again, we like this long-term, chopping around. VALE, I mean, everyone says, oh, it's trading at a 3 PE, you should buy it. I'm like, no. The levels make sense if you disappeared for a while, but they could go lower. Arrow, again, we like. Junior Copper, oopsies, not looking so hot there, is it? CCJ, again, I've warned bulls. I'm like, I hate when Goldman upgrades the highs. You bought in this area, you could get curb stomped, meaning stuck. And this is the problem is, now that we look like we have the trajectory, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't come back to 41. And so if you bought up here, you're just pissed off. And then if it chops around and then gets flopped, you're going to see what? Somewhere in the 30 level. Again, I will be there ready when it's pulled back. CF, we talked about the ag names due to bounce. Well, that didn't live long. Again, if rising tide lifts all boats, market dropping shouldn't either. it'll pull them down. But they got a nice bounce. We talked about they're oversold. So if you made 10%, 5-10% on these trades, not so bad compared to other names. AA again, we absolutely like aluminum long term, but I want it to come on back here. Come on back here. XLF again. We said watch the IWM and the XLF and the financials. Outside reversal bar. Keep an eye on this sucker, y'all. Telling you. JP Morgan. If Jamie Dimon's not buying, why are you? Uh-oh. Keep an eye on that one. Morgan Stanley. This has been holding up with earnings. Multi-day range. Keep an eye on that. Bank of America. Again, these novice gaps. Put an arrow there. Oops. Be careful. Goldman Snacks. Again, look at this candle, right? Left, right combo with cheese. Carry. And this is where it gets a little fun, right? We've talked about this. If you've been paying attention to the channel, said, man, once it kind of just started really pumping, it's going to get into the no doubt fail zone. And look what it got to. The top of the no doubt fail zone. And then once it did, this is where, again, you have to be careful. Like straight line moves very quickly at the highs. Right? Oops. Wait for the program. Waiting. Thank you. This is where, again, you should expect profit taking. Now, again, if you short it at the highs, you could get some choppiness before it drops, but I expect bigger. XBI, again, this is another bullish trade that we talked about, but take the profits. Once you got to over, again, I need to redraw this stuff. I apologize, it didn't get saved. Once you got over this level, you had 100 price target on it. Congrats. XHB, again, I'm like mind boggled. This is like easiest short in my opinion because housing is not strong. Look at that candle today. Telling you right there it is. Game over. Just again, if it's not, then it'll be an anomaly. And here's the thing: you have to trade what's obvious. It's like getting pocket aces. You don't underplay pocket aces. You play them aggressively, and if you're wrong, you know what? You lose. Solar, as we talked about, is dog crap. However, after being, bouncing, chopping, it's one of those things. Talking about it, chop around. ENPH, again, I know people are looking at this. They got earnings next week. You got to hold. You got to hold this range. And if you hold it, you hold it. If not, again, it's gaming. For solar, this every day is not going to be down. This thing has gotten, bitch slapped, excuse my language, and 305 down to 205. 100 points, 30% plus. Yikes, I said, watch out. If you're buying HYG, you're out of your absolute gosh darn mind. There you go. Ranging at the highs. Oil and gas. Again, I like oil and gas, but I'm not going to chase. No, hell no. I'm going to wait and let them come to me. Again, the UNG, the crappiest natural gas product out there. At support when we looked at the near term, not surprised. Again, I like the KOLD to short. Watching these ranges. Again, if you started in here, you're probably going to be okay long term. Just again, I want some big pain. I want to see some big market moves before I even think about longing anything. CVE, like these areas. We talk about the gasoline names. We're not holding up. Something seems funky, right? There's another one of those long wick candles. MPC. This thing had barely bounced, like barely, chopping around. ExxonMobil holding up. Credit where credit's due, but look where it got to. Yikes. Uh-oh. Could it fill the gap? I don't know. Be careful. XOP. Apologize, I missed that one again. Junior oil names. Again, we like this if Trump is going to be winning. Occidental, again, big, choppy range. Everyone's buying it, trying to get rich, while Buffett's just like, I'm going to continue to sell calls, and I'm going to sell some puts, and you're going to try to get excited about it, but I'm going to use all the profits from my options to buy more stock because I want it to waterlog. Then I will let the mother rip. EQT, again, we like these names. They're big, choppy trading zones. Just let them play out. Give them time. No rush, right? Last but not least, Flex LNG. Again, I think we will be natural gas exporters of the biggest kind. So if you have any questions, real estate related, please do not hesitate to reach out. If you have trading issues, want some help, again, here to help. People leave comments. If you've been helped, leave a comment below too. I tell people this all the time, like, I am what I am. I'm not trying to portray something. I'm not always here to help. Love you guys. Let me know what you need. Peace out.